Good evening and welcome to our continuing coverage of the exit poll here on Times Now-ETG's exit poll survey. Viewers, the polls have ended and now it's time for number crunching. The polls in Telangana have been keenly watched and Times Now-ETG survey shows Congress storm is set to topple KCR's car. Let's first take a look at the exit poll numbers of Telangana. And these are the numbers as they are stacked up as far as our exit poll is concerned. The BRS from 37 to 45, the Congress from 60 to 70 with a comfortable majority there. The BJP between 6 and 8, AIMM between 5 to 7 and others at 0. This is how the numbers are stacked up as far as Telangana is concerned. Let's quickly get you the poll of polls to give you a perspective what the other surveys are saying and get you a sense of where Telangana stands as far as the overall numbers are concerned. This is how it all adds up as far as the various surveys are concerned. By and large, the numbers in the favor of the Congress party, you can see as far as not just the Times Now-ETG survey at 65, the others like the Chanakya will give it 71, there's the India TV CNX at 71 as well. But there are several numbers where it's very close. Look at Polstat, 54 and 53. Matriz says 54 and 53 as well. There's of course Jan Ki Baat which says 56 and 47, and they're giving larger numbers to the BJP at 10 over here. So what does this all completely mean? The total number of the poll of polls still gives advantage to the Congress at 61 and the BRS at 45. That's as far as the total numbers are concerned. We'll now quickly get in a word from the state in charge of the AICC of Telangana. Joining us at the moment is Manikrao Thakre. Thank you so much, sir, Mr. Thakre, for joining us. And let me begin by asking you, the exit poll results are mixed. While some say that the Congress is clearly ahead, some have said that the BRS could be ahead or there could be the possibility of even a hung assembly. What is your assessment based on these numbers?
देखिए, मैंने पहले ही कहा था, क्योंकि हमने इतने सारे दिनों से लगातार हर कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी से हर कार्यकर्ताओं से हमारी बातचीत होती रही है और बाद में भी चुनाव के वक्त भी हमने देखा है बड़ा अच्छा यहाँ पे परिस्थिति थी। जैसे कि हमारे सोनिया जी गांधी, खड़गे साहब, राहुल जी, प्रियंका जी, हमारे वेणुगोपाल जी, सभी यहाँ आकर उनकी जो सभाएं हुई, उनको जो रिस्पांस मिला वो बहुत ही अच्छी तरीके से जनता का रिस्पांस मिला। और उसमें पहले से जो हमारे कार्यकर्ता है, जो भी नेता है यहाँ के, उन्होंने मिलजुल कर काम किया। तो मैं समझता हूँ कि हम 70+ रहेंगे, इतना मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूँ। क्योंकि कोई कुछ भी सर्वे जो रहता है, जिस तरीके से एग्जिट पोल आते हैं, तो कम ज़्यादा उसमें ये इस तरीके से रहता है। लेकिन जो आगे जा रहा है, मतलब हम 5 MLA थे कांग्रेस पार्टी के, हम चुनाव लड़ने जा रहे थे, तो आज हम 70 तक जा रहे हैं। तो इसका मतलब एक है कि हम आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। जो भी काउंटिंग होगा उसमें भी हम आगे ही दिखाई देंगे। तो मेरा पहले से कहना है कि 70+ कांग्रेस पार्टी यहाँ पे सीट जीतेगी।
लेकिन सबके पास एक प्लान भी जरूर होता है, खास तौर से अगर हंग असेंबली की संभावना हो। और अगर हम AIMM को देखें तो पूरी संभावना है कि वो BRS के साथ ही चलेंगे जैसे पहले से चलते आ रहे हैं। इस तरह की इनफॉर्मल अंडरस्टैंडिंग है उनकी। तो ऐसे में कांग्रेस के पास क्या प्लान भी है?
देखिए, हंग होगी ही नहीं यहाँ पे। पूरी तरह 70+ होने के बाद हंग होने का सवाल ही कहा था। हमें पूरे विश्वास है जनता के ऊपर। हमने जो काम वर्क किया है यहाँ पर, हमारे नेताओं ने काम किया है, सब नेताओं ने मिलजुल कर, कार्यकर्ताओं ने जिस तरीके से वर्क किया है, जो हमने 6 गारंटी दी है, जैसे कि वहाँ पे 6 गारंटी हम 100% वहाँ पे 100 दिन के अंदर पूरी करेंगे, स्टार्ट करेंगे, ये हमारे नेताओं ने बताया है। और इसका अनुभव भी लोगों को है कि जो कर्नाटक में जो चुनाव हुए उसके बाद कुछ ही दिनों के बाद 1 महीने के अंदर वहाँ पे गारंटी जो दी थी वो पूरी तरह लागू कर दी। उसके बाद हिमाचल में देखिए, उसके पहले छत्तीसगढ़ रहो या अपना राजस्थान रहो, वहाँ पर जो हमने कहा है, हमारे नेताओं ने कहा है, वो करके दिखाए। ये हमारे पर विश्वास जनता का है। तो इसलिए हम 70+ में इसीलिए कह रहा हूँ कि आज के तारीख में 5 MLA से हम 70 तक पहुँचे हैं या मेजॉरिटी में पहुँचे हैं। तो इसका मतलब साफ है कि कांग्रेस पार्टी पर जनता का विश्वास है
और लास्ट सवाल,
कांग्रेस के नेतृत्व पर विश्वास है।
ठाकरे जी, एक सवाल मैं आपसे जरूर पूछना चाहूंगा, जैसे अगर 70 सीट आपके आ रहे हैं तो चीफ मिनिस्टर फेस कौन होगा? क्या रेवंत रेड्डी होंगे जो आपके कैंपेन को लीड करते आ रहे हैं, या कोई और होगा?
देखिए, ये सिस्टम जो हमारा कांग्रेस पार्टी का आप जानते हैं कि वहाँ से हमारे हाईकमांड से किसी को नियुक्ति होंगी तेलंगाना के चयन करने के लिए, वो यहाँ आकर सभी एमएलए से बात करेंगे, सभी नेताओं के साथ बात करेंगे और जो भी स्थिति बनती है उसके बारे में हाईकमांड को बताएंगे। तो फिर हाईकमांड डिसीजन लेगा आखिर में कि किसको यहाँ पे नेतृत्व देना है, किसके हाथ में। हमारे पास तो पीछे से प्रश्न है, बाकी सीनियर नेता है।
So no clear answers there. No clear answers there coming in from Mr. Thackeray, although Revanth Reddy is the man who has pretty much led from the front for the Congress in Telangana as far as its campaign is concerned, directly taking on Chief Minister KCR as well as his family members. But when it comes to Telangana, all eyes were on the question of the minority vote. Both the Congress and the BRS went all out to woo minority voters. But who was the favorite of the minorities? Let's take a look at the numbers from the Times Now-ETG survey to get a better sense of what's actually happened on ground. Now, this is as far as how the votes have come out as far as the Muslims are concerned. In BRS, 51%, Congress at 45%, MIM at 4%. Now, this number is very interesting because it's been neck to neck in the past elections. If you look at the historical data in both the last Lok Sabha election as well as the previous assembly election, the context has been that they've just been about a percentage apart. This time round, Congress's minority guarantees or declaration does not seem to have enthused or galvanize the Muslim voters in the state of Telangana. Pretty much the promises that have been made by BRS have in fact been what has worked, or at least have helped them to retain their minority vote bank. So what are the big takeaways from this? Let's take a very quick look at that as well. Takeaway one is that the Congress's Muslim declaration has failed to galvanize voters. The next takeaway very quickly that we'll be bringing to you on the screen is that the regional player BRS still is the favorite of minorities in Telangana. Takeaway number 3, KCR has retained the support with his pro-minority promises that he has made. We've seen talks of minor IT parks for minorities, so on and so forth being made. Takeaway 4 is that Congress's Karnataka model doesn't seem to have enthused minorities, at least going by the numbers that we have at the moment. OAC throughout the campaign kept making Congress RSS barbs, and those barbs that he hurled have hurt the Congress. In fact, referring to Revanth Reddy directly as RSS Anna time and again throughout the campaign. So these are some of the takeaways here. Let me quickly open this up and take this across. Okay, let's now listen in. I actually interviewed Revanth Reddy a few days ago. I posed this very question of the barbs coming in to his way about his previous association with the RSS. Here's how he answered that question.
क्योंकि ओएसी बार बार आपको आरएसएस आना ऐसे करके पुकारते हैं, तो इसको आप कैसे, इसको परसेप्शन को कैसे आप इसको ठीक करेंगे या उसको कैसे?
नहीं, मैं ठीक करने का कोई जरूरी नहीं है। झूठ बोले तो सच्चा थोड़ी हो जाएंगे। मैं 2 सवाल पूछा था असदुद्दीन ओवैसी जी को। आप इतना देश में चुनाव लड़ रहे, उत्तर प्रदेश में 100 सीटों में लड़ा, वेस्ट बंगाल में लड़ा, बिहार में लड़ा, महाराष्ट्र में लड़े और कर्नाटक में भी। तेलंगाना में गोशा महल एक असेंबली है, वो असेंबली के अंदर ही आपका दारसलाम आती है, आपके हेडक्वार्टर्स। गोशा महल से राजा सिंह मिले, वो बीजेपी।
All right, let me take this across to JVC. JVC, interesting perspective over there. While the Congress is doing far better than it has in the past in the state of Telangana, what explains this? Because this aspect of the Karnataka model has not percolated on ground.
So if Congress is not going to get majority of, which is above 50% of minority votes, they would not be in a position to touch the magic figure.
Absolutely.
If your data is right, then the results are going other way.
Yeah. Okay. They don't stand together.
They don't stand together.
Yeah. Okay.
For the Congress to go past, because understand, there are several seats where Congress does not have organizational structure.
Yeah.
In the absence of organizational structure, if you do not get majority of minority votes, you are not at a poll distance to form the government.
Okay.
That's one. Number 2, I would also make one statement here. Revanth Reddy's victory in 2019, many people attributed that RSS Sangh people, who are probably, not very active in Sangh now, but they have their association, ex-ABP people.
Okay.
They all worked for Revanth Reddy because he's our bidda.
Okay. Okay, that's an interesting perspective. And in fact, let me quickly introduce some of our panelists. Tushar Gupta is with us, Tehseen Poonawalla here in our studio. We also have Sabah Naqvi, senior journalist, joining us. Jayam Rugh, of course, continues to be with us in the studio. But joining us from outside, Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of the BJP. We have with us Asif Sohail, political analyst, joining us, as well as Mir Zulfikar, AIMIM candidate. Asif Sohail, I'm going to come to you in just a minute, but I want to take this question across to Mir Zulfikar. Mir Zulfikar ji, आप क्या कहेंगे? कांग्रेस इस बार माइनॉरिटी वोटर्स को इंथूज कर पाई है, नहीं कर पाई है, और अगर ये डेटा जैसे सजेस्ट कर रहा है कि नहीं कर पाई है, तो उसके क्या कारण रहे हैं?
देखिए, कांग्रेस माइनॉरिटी वोट्स को नहीं ले सकती, क्योंकि कांग्रेस शुरू से ही हर वक्त सिर्फ वादे करती है और काम पूरा नहीं करती। और जो भी यहाँ पर तेलंगाना में काम किया है पिछले 10 साल से, वो केसीआर साहब ने आकर ग्राउंड लेवल पर, ग्रास रूट लेवल से जो काम किया है और अपने स्कीम्स को इम्प्लीमेंट किया है, उसी की वजह से केसीआर साहब को माइनॉरिटी वोट मिलेंगे। कांग्रेस सिर्फ वादे करती है, काम नहीं करती।
Okay, let me bring Tehseen on that. Khalikur Rahman also joining us on the broadcast. कांग्रेस वादे करती है लेकिन इंप्लीमेंट नहीं करती. How do you like to respond to him?
अव्वल तो मीर साहब को मैं ढेर सारी शुभकामनाएं देना चाहता हूँ। वे भी चुनाव लड़ रहे हैं और उम्मीद है कि वो अच्छा करेंगे, लेकिन कांग्रेस तेलंगाना में हुकूमत में आने वाली है। इस चीज को आप नोट कीजिए। एंड इट इज क्रॉसिंग 70+. इट इज एन अस्टाउंडिंग स्वीप. Madhav, I have never seen something like this in my life except for 2 occasions. 2013 Arvind Kejriwal, 2014 Modi ji in the national elections. Anyone and everyone you speak to is voting for Congress. Whatever the factors is, this is an election BJP is just given away on a platter 8 to 9 months ago.
So you don't believe these numbers? You don't believe these
I
numbers?
am saying Congress is crossing 72+. I am sticking my neck out and saying 72+. This is even the poll of polls that gives Congress a majority. I don't agree with it. It's 72+. It is a tsunami in Telangana. And I've tweeted this about a week and a half ago.
But I want you to come in on the minority numbers. If it's worked, if these numbers are true, then what really has happened on ground? Because this is what the Congress was saying. The Congress was saying that in Karnataka, they said that make us a strong alternative to the BJP nationally, and that helped them get the Muslim votes. They've gone with that narrative in Telangana. But somewhere that narrative has not worked, is what many would say, if these numbers are true.
No, that narrative has absolutely worked for the Congress, not just the minorities. Everyone in Telangana has wanted change. And it's astounding because the 4 or 5 reasons why people have voted Congress, most people didn't have much negative to say about KCR, sir.
Okay.
But they were very, very irritated with KTR and Kavita. They thought that KTR in particular was very arrogant. This is what I'm telling you, the feedback we've got. Second, the MLAs. KCR, sir, did not make this, repeated his MLAs. He had promised to change them. He didn't do that. With the change in leadership in BJP, they went soft.
Okay.
And one factor, Sonia Gandhi. A lot of the voters have voted for Sonia Gandhi because it was her last
Okay,
election.
one by one. Let me get in a response from the BRS now. Joining us is Khalikur Rahman, spokesperson. Khalikur Rahman, you heard Tehseen Poonawalla describing the factors. He's saying that there are certain members of the family who he believes were not popular, but also as far as the way the minority votes went, many would say, we saw how the BJP, the Prime Minister, even accusing the BRS of engaging in politics of appeasement, promises as far as an IT park for Muslims are concerned, or even increasing the various schemes, etc., budgets drastically. All of these are questions that have been raised through the course of the campaign. How do you react to all of that? Khalikur Rahman.
Yeah, first of all, good evening to all my co-panelists and good evening to all your viewers. Thank you for having me on your show. In fact, we have just closed the polling today, and we have also seen some of the exit polls, but I don't quite agree with those exit polls. For the reason is because those exit polls are done based on a particular sample, and that sample does not represent the entire constituency or the entire population of the Telangana and what they think about the particular leaders or the particular parties. So it represents only a particular section of the society, so based on which we cannot, because we have seen in 2018 that they had said that the Congress was actually sweeping, and they had shown the similar numbers way back in 2018. But you have seen, because
Sir, our exit poll is showing that you've bettered your performance amongst the minorities. Are you not going to believe that also?
No. That's what I'm coming to. Because in this last 9.5 years of our governance, we have in fact worked for the inclusive growth of every section of the society. It's not just only the Hindus or the Muslims, and we have never done the appeasement politics. We have always done. No, let me talk.
Why? Just tell me, if there's no appeasement, how can you have an IT park only for Muslims? Please explain this, because no one can understand this. How can you have an IT park which only Muslims will work?
How are you going to implement it?
And how do you implement it? So you say from the security to the data manager to the GM will be a Muslim, you're going to see his religion. I mean, how is it possible? Even the Muslims know you're conning them. Why would you con people this way? How is it possible? Explain. Today, explain on the show.
Yeah, let me explain. See, because, so as for the IT park for the Muslims is concerned, what is wrong in announcing that? Do you think that it is an
How will you implement it, sir? How will you implement it is the question we are not able to understand.
How is it in the
There are many leaders of the Congress party who are also saying that how are you going to implement it? Leave alone private companies. Even if you have a PSU dedicated to it, you cannot reserve jobs only for people of one religion. So it's just something that people are not able to wrap their head around.
Madhav, what you have to understand one thing, that there are, for example, the institution. For example, we have a medical college which is a Muslim minority medical college. So do you think that is again an appeasement? So on the similar lines, we'll have a Muslim IT park for the Muslims. So there is nothing wrong in that.
No, a Muslim medical college also admits.
Okay, why is that? Okay,
in any part of the world, in any part of this big beautiful world, have you heard of a company that chooses to employ just the whites, just the Jews, just the blacks, just the Africans, just the Russians, just the Indians, just the Hindus, just the Christians, just the Buddhists, just the Jains, just the Sikhs? It doesn't happen that way. I agree with Tehseen.
Ask him, suppose if a Hindu is more talented in, say, coding, and a Muslim is less, you will not employ the talented Hindu or a less talented Muslim. How is this possible?
It is not like that. Try to understand. This is just to provide the level playing field for the Muslims, actually.
No, there's a difference. There's a difference, Mr. Khalikur Rahman.
How do you operationalize it?
Okay. Mr. Khalikur Rahman, you give the example of a medical college, which is maybe a minority-run institution, but that does not mean that,
Hindus can't go there.
Yeah, Hindus can't go there either as people who work there or as patients to get treated. So there's a huge difference when you say there's an IT park only meant for minorities. That's where it becomes complicated. It's not even constitutionally permissible.
This is an IT park for Muslims, but we have never said that. The Hindus cannot be employed. Because you cannot jump into the conclusion. Like the example you gave, in a Muslim minority medical college, the Hindus can also be admitted. Likewise, here maybe the majority of the employees will maybe Muslim.
Playing a test match.
Okay, we are going around in circles. We're going around in circles. But I want to bring in others.
Madhav, the beneficiaries intended for this idea must have also been against it.
Okay, they would have themselves been so confused as to how it's going to be implemented. Nobody is quite clear as to how it will be implemented. Okay, many hands going up. Sanju Verma of the BJP. Sanju Verma, this is an issue that the BJP has raked up during the campaign. Your response to Khalikur Rahman, who says that we've worked for holistic development of society, taking everybody along. Your response to him?
Madhav, I think the biggest example of the fact that the TRS/BRS is facing a rout is the fact that North Telangana, which has been the bastion of KCR and KTR, I mean, from what I see, what your polls predict, the BRS has been reduced to single digits, and North Telangana is particularly relevant because this is the area from where the demand for a separate Telangana actually originated. So it has more than just a legacy value. Point number one. Point number two, I think while on the one hand there undoubtedly has been a consolidation of the Muslim vote bank. Muslims account for about 13 to 14% of the population in Telangana. The fact that rabid polarization is being rejected is best showcased by the fact that in the old city, in and around Greater Hyderabad, which accounts for about 24 odd seats, while the BJP has stuck to its tally, the Congress has seen a marginal improvement. The BRS is actually seeing a rout there as well. And the INM is also seeing a rout. Asaduddin Owaisi says that we will win all the 9 seats this time around. But the fact is that that he will not even be able to hold on to the 7 seats that he won last time, and their tally might actually fall from 7 to 6.
Yeah.
Is what your pundits are predicting,
Okay.
and which is something that which needs to be taken cognizance of. So I think rabid polarization does not work. Point number 1, there is an anti-establishment vote against the TRS/BRS. The Congress has done well to capitalize on that. There is no denying that. But point number 3, from being a party with just 1 seat, we just got 1 seat in 2018 Telangana Assembly polls, to the fact that even on conservative estimates, pollsters are saying we will win about 6 to 8 or 7 to 9 seats. I think that's coming a long way.
Okay.
The most important point is I don't think the Congress is going to win on its own 60 plus seats. I think that is
well, we'll get into that point, but let me quickly bring in Asif Sohail as well. Asif Sohail, it is the politics of polarization that has been played out by the BRS and the MIM too, which should have ordinarily benefited from that at this point of time in terms of its total seats, is seeing a possible dip, even though it's a marginal one.
माधव देखिए, एक चीज तो मैं आपको बताना चाह रहा हूं कि व्हेन वी सी द टोटल पोल परसेंटेज दिस टाइम कि ओवरऑल पूरे स्टेट में 63% के करीब हुआ, जब कंपेयर 14 में 69% था, 18 में 73% है, तो ये बार वोटिंग भी कम हुई है। बट एक चीज तो तय है कि जहां पे माइनॉरिटी वोट्स हो गए वही गवर्नमेंट फॉर्म करेगी, चाहे कांग्रेस हो या बीआरएस हो। दैट इज नाउ कि माइनॉरिटी वोट्स विल प्ले एन इंपॉर्टेंट रोल, जबकि मुसलमानों को हमेशा पीछे रखा गया है। बट अब ये चीज अब मुसलमान एक वादे के ऊपर आए हैं कि अब चाहे वो बीआरएस को वोट दे या कांग्रेस को वोट दे, वो उनके साथ फिर वही खाली वोट बैंक की पॉलिटिक्स ना करें, उनके साथ एक उम्मीद के साथ रहे कि उनका भी एक डेवलपमेंट हो जो पिछले 75 साल से उन्हें वैसे ही रखा गया है, तालीमी एतबार से, नौकरियों के एतबार से या कोई भी चीज में। जब एक आईटी पार्क के ऊपर इतना बवाल मचा रहे हैं, एक देखिए क्या बुरी बात है। ठीक है, डिस्क्रिमिनेशन नहीं होना चाहिए जॉब्स के अंदर, मैं मानता हूं, बट अब अगर आप जस्टिस आचार की रिपोर्ट देखोगे मुसलमानों की अगर स्टेटस क्या है तो बहुत ही नीचे तक है।
नहीं,
तो
ये थियोरेटिकल डिबेट हो गई है, but we are actually looking at the numbers and the impact of all of these promises. Asif Sohail, so let me quickly bring this across to the other panelists as well. Sabah, how do you look at this entire debate? Because it's been a very bitterly fought election. On every demographic, for every vote bank, there has been, of course, a closely contested fight. But when it comes to the Muslim vote, we saw KCR pulling out all the stops. He's saying that, look at the Congress's track record. In its spending for minorities, it was 2,000 crores for 10 years. I've spent 12,000 crores. I've done much more than what the Congress has done. They've treated you as a vote bank, not me. So there's clearly been a very pitched battle as far as the Muslim vote is concerned.
Look, there's a pitched battle for every vote. But we in the media, and there's a nature of politics, you focus on the Muslim vote. A 12 to 13% electorate is not going to determine if there is going to be a change of government in Telangana or not. It will be a factor. If there is an anti-BRS wave, even Muslims are human beings like other voters, then they will vote for it. Even certain Muslim politicians, such as the last speaker, the impression that Muslims will decide which way the state will vote is a false sense of how can a 13% population decide which way the entire state will vote. Also, this idea of a park for a particular community is against the constitution of India.
पूरी पोलिंग हुई है।
मुझे साहब जनाब मुझे खत्म कर दीजिए।
मैडम को बोलने दीजिए, सवाल just started speaking. You can come in, Asif. One second.
आप हमारे आप
उनको बोलने तो दीजिए।
बोलने दीजिए। मुझे लगता है ये पार्क का जो आइडिया कि आप एक ही कौम के लिए आप एक पार्क बनाए, वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के खिलाफ ही होगा, इलीगल होगा। मुझे समझ में नहीं आया ये क्या पॉलिसी है। मे बी देयर इज समथिंग आई हैव नॉट अंडरस्टूड। लेकिन सीधी बात ये है कि अगर देखिए और
करके प्लीज one at a time please।
अगर ऐसा होता तो फिर यूपी में 20% मुस्लिम है, क्या वो सरकार बनाते? आपके यहाँ 12% है। और हैदराबाद में मेरा अनुमान ये है कि असदुद्दीन ओवैसी 2 सीटें शायद खो जाएंगे। लेकिन ये भी कहना that he will stop being, because he's an important MP and he makes his voice heard on certain issues, so he remains relevant to he's not unpopular among Indian Muslims all over, but it is obviously Hyderabad is his home place, that's where he's a member of parliament from. Muslims, I will go against the whole slant of your conversation here, that Muslims are going to decide which way they go. Everybody in Telangana has fought for every community.
Well, not the
KCR,
entire
I
state,
was
but
there.
in about 40 seats, they have a very huge
Others
influence, and
also
that's why.
have.
Of
How
course they
big
do.
12%
Of course they do.
have?
Of course
That's
they do.
what I
But let me
want.
bring in Jay on that.
No,
Jay,
this is part of
is this not an important debate? Because she says that they are like any other community. They may be about 10 to 12% of the population. Right. But from the data that we have seen, at least about 40 to 45 seats, Muslims have a decisive say in who wins that election, and that's why they become an important factor in the election, is it not?
Yeah, they absolutely become an important factor. Now, one of the most important news items we were looking at is a list of the Jamaat, which says that, okay, these 69 assembly seats go for the Congress, the best force to defeat the BJP. These 41 seats go for the BRS. Now, such, an organized move wouldn't have happened if they had not been decisive voters.
Right.
Second point, why they're decisive again, going by anecdotal data, is that the BRS has sought an arrangement with the AIMI.
Yeah.
Why would they seek an arrangement if they were not decisive voters? Right? In fact, it is sort of rumored that the AIMIM deliberately fielded a candidate in Jubilee Hills against Mr. Azharuddin so as to defeat the Congress candidate. So I think the primacy of their vote cannot be disputed. What can, however, be disputed is things like operationalizing an IT park.
Right. Let me, in fact, take you across to the second focus that we are having on the Newshour agenda, and this is as far as the backward class push is concerned. And how successful has the Congress's push in this regard been? This is crucial to look at, especially when we're looking forward to the 2024 general elections. For that, we look at how the OBCs voted in different states. The larger picture that emerges from the survey numbers is that OBCs have voted very much in favor of the BJP. Let's look at the numbers from the different states coming in. This is the first state that we have up over here. Now, this is the state of Rajasthan. Congress at 38%, BJP at 47%, others at 15%. Let's move on to the next state that we have as far as this particular statistic is concerned. We're going to be looking at Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. And this is Madhya Pradesh. Now, this is as far as the OBC vote is concerned. The OBC, General, SC, ST, Muslim, this is the total breakup. And look at the top statistic there of the OBC vote. BJP here again at 54%, Congress at 41%. Let's move on to the next state of Chhattisgarh. This is another state that we're looking at in terms of how the backward classes have voted. And over here as well, we're looking at the historical data now. Now, this is the historical data that we're talking about as far as how OBC votes are shifting towards the BJP in 2014. 24% for the Congress, the BJP at 23%, 2009, 24 and 22. So pretty much even Stevens over there. Regional parties, of course, the big players over here with 43 and 42%. Post 2014, this number changes where the Congress's share comes down to 15%. The BJP gaining about roughly the same amount of 10%. In fact, more than that, about 12% here, going to 34%. And in 2019, this number further increasing to 44%, with this share of the regional parties coming down from 43 to 27%. And that's why this becomes an important point of discussion. I want to go right back to Jay on this. Jay, this is going to be very, very crucial. We're seeing both sides battle it out for the backward classes. We're seeing the position that's been taken in various opposition states about demands for surveys, so on and so forth. But how is this really going to play out? If you look at the numbers over here, the BJP does seem to have an advantage when it comes to the backward classes, because number of the leaders that they're projecting, etc., all of that is in tune with this strategy.
You need to look at the larger lay of the land. If you look at the data, amongst the general category, SC and ST, there is a directionality. They prefer a particular party, or I would say there's a certain skew. But if you look at OBC data, there is no skew, 50, 40, 55, 45. How does that happen? Now, because reason number one, that's not a homogeneous group. It's a largely numerous group split in various subgroups, factions. Second, what actually happens on the ground is they never vote en bloc. How it goes is, oh, that candidate is from community X, now community Y is going to gang up and vote.
It's not a homogeneous community in that sense.
And there's a competing voting block, social block behavior on the ground.
Right.
So when a survey reports out their voting patterns, it's never going to get a 70, 80 or 100. Okay. As these competing blocks are counted, it's always going to get a 45 or 55. And that's exactly what you're seeing.
Okay, let me quickly go across to each one. Yeah, okay, Tushar, you want to come in on this?
Just to add to what he said, and that is why BJP's booth management has been very, very important. The Congress keeps making these lip service comments, caste census, backward classes need more rights, jitni abadi utna hak. But on the given day, on the ground, when to get the people to vote, it's BJP's booth management that is helping. And you look at a very interesting stat in Madhya Pradesh. General category at 62% for the BJP, just 29% with the Congress. Now what is happening is Rahul Gandhi is going all across the country, caste census, caste census, caste census. It's also pushing the general category voters away from the Congress, and it's not giving them the rewards they are expecting.
Okay, Tehseen, we want to comment on this because Rahul's strategy, the Congress strategy, doesn't seem to be working, is what Tushar is saying. And the numbers to some extent also showing that it's advantage BJP. So what really is the strategy? Does there need to be a rethink now?
So I think that in Telangana in particular, if this strategy was not working, and you'll bear with me, the BJP was the original OBC party in Telangana, but it completely gave it away. And then the Prime Minister tried to make it up in this election by going and saying we will have an OBC Chief Minister in Telangana, where they're not going to get 5 or 6 seats. So it's not what Tushar says absolutely correct, because why is the BJP playing that game if the Congress is playing a losing game? Because the upper caste in BJP do vote, the upper caste do vote majority for the BJP. The fact of the matter is what Rahul Gandhi is saying is a matter of principle. Jiski jitni sankhya bhari, uski utni hissedari. This has nothing to do with caste. It has to do with opportunity.
But they started soft pedaling on that also when the BJP started saying, "Hum bhi to wahi kar rahe hain."
No, they're not, actually not. If they were, in 10 years, when Rajnath Singh ji had promised in 2011 that we will bring the caste census of the 2011 in 2018 in Parliament, why have they not introduced it?
Okay,
I'll just take the debate to a more philosophical level, the Sankhya Bhari debate. See, I think decades ago, there was a very informal consensus among the political parties that they would not touch the current delimitation, which is the distribution of seats among various states in Lok Sabha. Because going by that logic, even that distribution would sort of go lopsided and might affect a lot of regional aspirations and interests. Right? So therefore, this entire talk, and that's precisely the point that Prime Minister Modi made in one of his rallies in Telangana, that if we go by the same logic, then delimitation will throw up some surprises.
Yes.
Yeah, that's point number one. The second point about OBC chief ministers, it's not necessarily a caste pitch. What has been observed across states is that you can create a loose conglomeration of OBC social blocks, combine it with the upper caste and produce a winning combination, which has worked in Uttar Pradesh, it's worked in many other states. That is precisely what the BJP might have been attempting.
Will that happen or not is another question. All right, I want to quickly go across to others. One second.
To do with delimitation.
Yeah, okay, we'll go one by one. He says it opens up a Pandora's box. That's a larger debate. It's a wider debate. One second, Tehseen, let me quickly take that question across to Sanju Verma. Sanju Verma, you heard Tehseen Poonawalla. He says that this strategy has worked for them in Telangana state, at least he believes. Moving on from here, how is the BJP going to take on the Congress as far as the battle for the backward caste vote is concerned?
You know, Madhav, I have a couple of points to make. First and foremost, taking a cue from what Sabha mentioned, she made a very pertinent point, and I completely agree. You know, while the Muslims most often tend to vote en masse as a bloc, to try and, say that the Muslim population is the deciding factor, I think that is taking things a bit too far, because indeed if that had been the case, then with 4 crore Muslims who account for 20% of Uttar Pradesh's population, BJP would have never got 73 seats from Uttar Pradesh in Lok Sabha 2014 or 62 seats from Uttar Pradesh in Lok Sabha 2019. So let's not try and overplay the minority angle. That's point number one, because BJP has done a lot of work for minorities, and I think the best example of that is the fact that in Kishanganj, Araria, Purnia, Katihar, Muslim dominant areas of Bihar, the BJP scored exceedingly well in assembly elections in Bihar in 2020.
Okay, let's come back to the OBC debate. Yeah.
My second point is this. If you look at this entire narrative of bringing up OBCs into the political equation, this has happened in the last 2-3 months. Caste census, caste census. Arey bhai sahab, do you think the people are gullible? The electorate is very smart, more than you give them credit for. And the Congress conducted a caste census way back in 2011 at a cost of 4,800 crores. What happened? They were in power till 2014. But that caste census survey was consigned to the dustbin. Then the Congress conducted a caste census in Karnataka at a cost of 368 crores. They were in power from 2013 to 2018. Did they make the details public?
One by one.
But most importantly, this. Let me finish because I'm out of the studio. I've been patiently listening.
Yeah, but we have very limited time. Quickly, please.
Yes. what is the OBC population in Madhya Pradesh? What is the OBC population in Rajasthan? Between 48 to 52%. And as I see from the exit polls, despite being in power for 18 long years, the Congress is going to be routed in Madhya Pradesh. The Congress is going to be routed in Rajasthan because the OBCs know कि Congress का हाथ कभी OBCs के साथ था ही नहीं.
Yeah, I want to come to both of you. Yeah, okay. Sanju Verma, we have just 2 minutes left. One quick minute.
Very quickly.
Yeah, implications for 2024 from this.
Historically, the BJP has been better with OBC representation than the Congress.
Okay.
The Mandal happened because the Congress was incapable of giving leadership in UP or Bihar to anything but Brahmins or Thakurs. That is why they got wiped out of the Ganjati historically. But, however, today we are in a different age and the same Congress has picked up the OBC issue. Absolutely. Why do you think Akhilesh Yadav is so irritated? You look at the history of chief ministers. In the Congress dominant era, there were only Brahmins.
Yes,
and there was Thakurs.
Yeah.
Then the BJP is formed in 1980. That's what I'm trying to... the BJP gets formed in 1980 and the BJP very consciously in that era, in the Vajpayee-Advani era, very consciously people like Govindacharya, they decided to project OBC leadership.
Right.
They project Uma Bharti first, they project Kalyan Singh first. Later on, Narendra Modi is also an OBC, but he is, I do not actually describe him because he's always come through the politics of Hindutva through Gujarat. And he transcends being a caste leader by any stretch of the imagination. But Kalyan Singh was a Lodh leader. Uma Bharti was Lodh. So the BJP has had, in the Hindi belt, they have been good with this.
Okay. Quick. JVC, I want you to comment on this because this has implications not just for Telangana but also for 2024.
So, because I'm just going to touch upon some statistical data for Telugu-speaking states. There are 175 MLAs in Andhra Pradesh. There are 108 upper caste MLAs. Now, this has to change because more than 45% of Andhra Pradesh is a backward class communities consisting. And there has not been a single chief minister in the United States of Andhra Pradesh and also in Telangana and present Andhra Pradesh who has been from OBC community. Yes. So what do all these things say? There is a craving amongst the people that we want access to power. Now, that BJP is able to provide. Now, a leader from MP, Madhya Pradesh, had said this, that talking about OBC census in our party, which is Congress party, does not make any sense because as Tushar rightly said, right from the booth level Karyakartas to that of a chief minister, they have OBCs everywhere. They can go to a community, they can go to a Kurmi, can go to a Kurmi community, a Gaud can go to a Gaud community, Munurkapu can go to a Munurkapu community, as a result of which they've been able to consolidate the OBC and give power. Empowerment is the key. As she rightly said, Sarnanaki, that Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, now not even Thakur chief minister, there is a book written that Congress would give probably 1 year Thakur chief minister, but the next 4 years will be a Brahmin chief minister. That is what has happened. And now this has to be changed, and this is a change which is happening.
As of today, Congress is in governance in 4 states. 3 are OBC chief ministers out of the 4 states. Out of 4, 3 are OBC chief ministers. The BJP has only 1. That is Shivraj Singh Chauhan.
What about the votes? What about the votes?
And therefore, it's not about votes. It's about justice. It is a mistake to conflate this with votes.
Okay, quick response from Sanju.
And I challenge Sanjuji. I challenge Sanjuji. Sanjuji, on national TV you say that you are against the caste census. You today say it on national TV.
Okay, Sanju Verma, almost out of time. Sanju Verma, quick response.
You are nobody who needs to be validated.
Don't validate me. You say you're against caste census.
I don't need a validation from you.
When she's cornered, she gets first.
Respond to the point he's making.
When she gets cornered, she gets first.
Yes, please go ahead. Floor is yours.
Fine.
Caste census, yes or no?
No personal choice, please. 1 second. One at a time. Sanju Verma, respond to the question. We're on a serious topic. Let's stick to the topic at hand.
She won't answer caste census.
1 second. Tehseen, please. I'm requesting both of you. Let's stop.
But she won't answer it. The viewers should see.
Tehseen, let her speak, please. Yes. Sanju Verma.
Madhav, from 2003 to 2004, let's talk about Madhya Pradesh where Congress is suffering the worst possible defeat and the results will be out in the less than 72 hours. We had an OBC chief minister, Uma Bharti, from 2003 to 2004. We had an OBC chief minister in Madhya Pradesh, Babulal Gaur, from 2004 to 2005. From 2005 till 2023, as we speak now, for more than 18 years, you've had another OBC, Shivraj Singh Chauhan, as the chief minister. So the BJP has walked the talk. What has Rahul Gandhi done? He has simply talked the talk.
Caste census, yes or no? हाँ या ना?
Okay. Completely out of time on this debate. Tushar, sorry, I see your hand going up, but we're completely out of time. I'd like to thank all our guests for joining us this evening. JVC Sriram, Tushar Gupta, Tehseen Poonawalla, Sabah Naqvi, Sanju Verma, Khaliqur Rahman, Asif Sohail, and Mir Zulfikar. This is as far as the numbers are stacked up. Over the next 48 hours, we'll be breaking down further details from the exit poll to try and understand what exactly has happened in the 5 poll-bound states. Do stay with us for more details as far as the exit poll is concerned through the day tomorrow as well. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.